Good morning. I woke up late, so I'm here. I'm a little. Whew. Let's just take this thing in that we're doing and hold it for a moment. It's a small thing. It's for us first, and it's for anyone else that might. Who knows how the collective benefits from our consciousness. It's a notion that makes sense. We all do point each other where we're going, kind of like a flock of birds or something, that who knows how it steers itself. You look at the flock of starlings and how they're deciding which way to go, and it looks like they're doing it together. I remember watching a nature program with Richard Attenborough, and he was talking about how there was a herd of deer in Africa on the Serengeti Plain, and they were trying to observe and see how does this group decide this very vital question, which is, as they're grazing during the day, there's a single water hole in their world, but that water hole is surrounded by predators a lot of the time and has crocodiles in it. But what they observed was that the deer all went, got a drink, and got out of there together without any. It seemed seamless, like just all of a sudden they all knew it's time to go. And they were trying to figure it out, like is the lead male telling them what to do? Who's making this decision? And then in their filming and observation, what they finally concluded was that as these deer were grazing, every once in a while a female's head would pop up and her head would point towards the watering hole. Munch, munch, munch. And her head would point towards a watering hole. And when 51% of the females did that at the same time, it was time to go. Everybody just knew it. Let's go. So that's democracy in action in the animal kingdom. And what we're doing here is we're pointing our hearts and our minds and bodies towards, first of all, we're grounding in the present moment. And then we're turning our gaze, the gaze of our heart and our mind, as best we can towards a wise path forward. And that's what we would hope any democratic process would help us find, is a wise, loving, just path forward. So yesterday we explored a little bit of something, kind of an exchange, a compassionate exchange. First of all, these kind of practices are always, it's important not to try to force anything to happen. It's actually more important just to work with it and cultivate the awareness, and then see what can happen, see what does happen if you. And in the end, we're really not supposed to judge the outcome. They're supposed to be with it, and this is a way of caring for ourselves and not judging, and also stretching our ability a little bit. And so the exchange we were exploring yesterday is kind of a big deal. It's this notion that every time I take a breath in, I'm receiving everything the world has to give me in that moment. And I am just receiving a breath, but there's also symbolically a willingness or an acceptance to take in the world as it is, with all of its strife and difficulties and all of its beauty and nourishment. It's kind of how it is, and In these days, we don't know if a breath in means we're accepting a dangerous virus into our bodies, but we have no choice. We have to take in what's given to us. And this is a moment that's given to us, just as it is with these exact people doing these exact things and saying these exact things. And then when I say that, I mean all of it, like, the really good things that people are doing and offering and saying, and the really not good things, the lies, the sowing of hatred and suspicion and manipulation. So, how do you meditate in a time of leadership that is toxic narcissism? Well, what I was suggesting yesterday is that what we take in is for us. It's really, we have no choice. This is what we're given. We have to trust that our body knows how to sort out what's nourishing, get rid of what isn't, and also fight whatever's taken in that might internalize and harm us, that our body could have its own way of resisting whatever comes in. We would trust that as best we can, and we try to protect ourselves, especially during this pandemic time. So it's really a metaphor for, we're living in a dangerous time. What we take in can really take root in us and do harm. And then what we give out. In this meditation, we were exploring giving out a wish for everyone's happiness and health, a wish for justice, support and love to those who are striving for all of that as the world wakes up today. So maybe we could reconnect with that today and just kind of keep it simple and see where this practice takes us. Sorry. Let me see, there we are. Trying to do this without my glasses, which is always fun. So this morning, welcome. Let's enter into meditation. Mindful first of just getting in touch with ourselves in the present moment. So take a moment even before we start, just to kind of be. See if you can look for in your body the right posture for yourself this morning. If you want to lay on the floor, that's fine. If you want to stand up, that's fine. I'm doing what's called a seated mountain pose, which is, letting my butt root down into the chair and letting my spine lengthen, my head lifting, my shoulders relaxing and falling back. It's a nice place to meditate. We'll get started. So working gently with your posture and noticing just the sensation of the body and gravity grounding you right where you are. Your feet on the floor, noticing that. Noticing where your body connects to what you're sitting on or lying down on, and the sense of the ground beneath you. And it's okay to even notice, I'm doing this, I'm seated, or I'm doing nothing, I'm entering doing nothing. Then we can get connected to the present moment through noticing, waking up our awareness. So noticing what you're seeing, even with your eyes closed. Noticing what you're hearing or taking in through your ears. Noticing what you're tasting or sensing in your mouth. Noticing what you feel all across the surface of your skin, coating your whole body. Noticing what you smell or sense in your nostrils as you breathe. Noticing the thoughts that might be happening. Noticing the feelings that are occurring. So inside of you, there's a part of you that's pure awareness that just can notice, and we can direct it a little bit. But it's a part of you that can zoom in to any one thing that you're experiencing or zoom out and take it all in as a whole. Like it's all unfolding on a stage and this part of you is sitting back and observing, watching it. So just for a moment, allow yourself to be aware from that place of stepping back, noticing the whole of your being, body sensations, senses, thoughts, and feelings. And just taking it in, just as it is. And then focusing your attention more specifically on the breath in the belly. So bringing awareness to the sensations of the abdomen as it expands as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, it shrinks. And just noticing that. Thoughts and other concerns may play on in the background, like cars passing by outside. While I'm here attending to my breath. You can't quiet your thoughts, but they can become background like a radio playing in the distance. And then expanding that sense of breath and opening up the awareness to the whole body. Each breath completely filling my body. Each out breath, a complete emptying or letting go. And seeing what it's like as you breathe in as a starting point. Each in-breath, a complete acceptance of yourself, the self that's given to you just as you are today. Not a bad self, not a perfect self, a self that you can accept. So each in-breath is a deep willingness and acceptance of self. And each out-breath is a saying yes, a hearty, loving yes to that self. Each in-breath, willing acceptance of self. Each out-breath, a loving, compassionate yes. So seeing if you can include in that out-breath your deepest wishes for wisdom and goodness to guide your life. Each in-breath, a willing and open acceptance to the self that you're given. Not bad, not perfect. Okay to receive today. Each out breath a loving yes, an intention for health and growth and wisdom. And seeing what it's like for each breath to represent that for you. Now on an in-breath that you choose, opening up that love, that willing acceptance to the whole world of living beings all around us. If it helps, accepting that it's not bad, it's not perfect. I can accept it as it is today. And then let your out breath represent a yes to what needs to grow, a yes to wisdom, a yes to change, a yes to healing and truth. Whatever words are important to you today. And as you experience this exchange, accepting the world and wishing well for it, whatever feelings arise in you, just let them be what they are. If any of this becomes too muddled or complicated, sends you shooting off into thoughts, worries, plans, just come back and start again with your breath. And as we wind this down, letting go of all those intentions and words and returning to a simple awareness of breath. And maybe checking in with your heart center to see what's happening there. Check in with all of you, starting with the heart. Also maybe checking in with your gut. What's happening there? And checking in with your head. What's going on there? And maybe asking yourself gently, does this help my heart, my head, and my gut live well with each other? And guide me. Are they led together through my life, through my days? There are three different energies and they share the same body and the same path. And there's other energies too. Maybe give yourself the grace of just holding for a moment your own unique path, what's before you today. And see if you feel the support of this experience getting you started. Maybe even imagining that before you go to bed tonight, you check in with yourself again in some way. Well, thank you so much. And I don't know about you, but I feel myself like drawn over and over to tune into where we're at, the choices before us. And it takes a lot of careful attention to self to participate fully without harming, especially in a time where we're led by a toxic narcissist. So take care of yourself today. And thank you for being here. If you have any thoughts or feedback from me about what we're doing here, please let me know.